Hey movers, this is a step-by-step guide of the foundational sequence SURYA NAMASKAR B or Sun Salutation B. This sequence does vary from different styles of yoga, so today I'm going to be practicing with you the Vinyasa form. So I do like to take a little warm-up before practicing Sun B, so let's do that now. You can just come into your tabletop position and bring your right leg forward. We're coming into a low lunge just to open up those hip flexors a bit. So just take those feet about hips distance and you can come up. Just place the hands onto that front knee and just breathe. We're going to inhale, extend that front leg any amount into our Ardha Hanumanasana, our little half split here, just to open those hamstrings. All right, let's bend into that front knee, come back into our tabletop, and then take that left leg forward. Make sure your feet are about hips distance. It's a good foundation for where we're going to be taking this into our Warrior One. And let's extend any amount into that half split. All right, inhale, bend into that front knee. You can actually just step it all the way forward from here. So let's begin this sequence by bringing the feet together. Taking the fingertips, tap the mat for depth here. And I want you to try your best to stay at this depth and then just lift the upper body up, lift the arms up. So we're in Utkatasana or chair pose. Okay, so this is the first pose in Sun Salutation B. I want you to take a look down at your toes and make sure you can see them. So give them a little wiggle. You can even lift the toes so that you check that your weight is in the back towards the heels, and try to sink the hips down a little bit deeper. Good, and just breathe here. Firm the inner thighs, firm the low belly, firm the glutes, even firm those ankles towards one another. Holding for 3. Everybody's favorite, including mine, 2 and 1. Let's extend the legs, forward folds. Just let it hang out here. Option to bend the knees, of course. Inhale, take it into our half lift. So the aim here is to have a really nice long spine. You can take the hands to the mat, to the shins. I prefer to bring it up to my thighs. And I really visualize the crown of the head reaching forward and the tailbone lengthening back. And then we'll exhale, bend the knees, plant the palms, step it back to your plank pose. Now, with plank pose, you want to make sure the wrists are underneath the shoulders, the hands, the fingertips, I should say, are spread nice and wide. The heels are right over the balls of the feet. You firm the inner thighs, firm the core, firm the arms, firm the glutes, firm everything. The only thing that you really want to focus on spreading away from the midline are those shoulders, the shoulder blades. Just take one more breath in our plank. And let's go ahead, exhale, shift forward so the shoulders pass the wrists. You can practice this modified by setting the knees down, squeezing the elbows in, try to keep the shoulder tips lifted until you reach that 90-degree angle, and then lower all the way down to the belly. Untuck the toes, press down through the tops of the feet. Make sure the hands are underneath the shoulders as you lift up into our upward facing dog. As I take the first one here, I always like to spend a little time kind of wiggling around, feeling it out, taking a little twist, look side to side, and making sure that you're really pressing away from the ground. The shoulder blades are descending down the back and slightly together. So the aim here is to really open up the heart, not to crunch into your lower back. Keep the back of the neck long as well. Maybe you float the legs. Exhale, we're gonna take this back into our downward facing dog. So take a moment just to check in with your down dog, that your hands are about your shoulders distance apart. You're gripping with the fingertips, pressing down through the base knuckles or these knuckles here. And that just helps us engage the muscles in the hands and the forearms to protect your wrists. From the inner wrist all the way through the upper arm, you want to firm in towards the midline, but at the same time that you're firming those arms in, kind of firming that imaginary block there, you want to also spread and widen across the collarbones and across the shoulder blades. Draw the belly, the ribs in, the hips are reaching high. You can always modify by bending the knees. Just continue to root those heels down. They don't have to touch. All right, from your downward facing dog, we're gonna take the right leg up towards the sky, point the toes and firm your inner thighs. As you exhale, step the right foot forward. All right, we're gonna take those feet about hips distance, just like we did in that low lunge. Spin the back heel down flat and rise up into our first Virabhadrasana 1 or our Warrior 1. So take a moment just to feel, okay? See if you can stack the front knee over that ankle. The back foot is at a nice 45-degree angle. I've talked a lot and I've actually done 2 videos on Warrior 1. So check those out, okay, if you'd like. But we wanna make sure that the back foot is not at a 90, okay, because we're trying to square the hips towards the top of the mat. And if we do that, those two things at the same time, it really, I don't know about you, but it doesn't feel great on my back knee. So I take it at a 45-degree angle so that I can allow my hips to point forward towards the top of the mat. Okay, and then I reach my arms up and over, try to draw the belly, the ribs in. Keep it nice and neutral here. Circle the arms all the way back, plant the palms, step back, move through your vinyasa. So just like we talked about before, start out in that plank pose, shift forward, knees up or down, lower through chaturanga. Big inhale through your upward facing dog. Exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. And let's take 3 breaths here. Recommit to the breath. Breathe more presence. Let's exhale, bend the knees, look towards the top of the mat. You can hop or you can step forward. Inhale right into your flat back. Exhale, forward fold, bow the head, option to bend your knees. Inhale to rise up. And exhale, hands to your heart. All right, let's take all of that on the left side. Take the fingertips, tap for depth, remember, reach the arms up. Continue to really lengthen through both sides of the waist here. So as you're rooting down through the lower body, the upper body is rising. Take a look down, do that little self-check. Make sure you can see your toes. If not, maybe draw the knees back a bit. Firming everything in. Feel the strength building in that lower body. Extend, forward fold. Release the neck. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, your choice, your movement. I always give the option to take a child's pose here or chaturanga through that vinyasa or downward facing dog. So whatever you're feeling, but if you are practicing, you know, that traditional Sun B, you'll take your chaturanga, you'll take your up dog, and then downward facing dog. All right, second side, inhale, left leg goes up, point those toes, firm the inner thighs. As you exhale, step forward with intention. So you take those feet about your hips distance, check, all right, that the back foot is at about a 45-degree angle. When you rise up, you can take a moment to just check yourself out here. Check in with your hips, that they're square towards the top of the mat. Notice if you need to lengthen your stance or shorten your stance. Find what feels comfortable for your body. Then reach the arms up. Neutralize through the trunk, so draw the belly, the ribs in. Really easy here as the arms are overhead for everything to really splay out. So neutralize it, draw it in. Press down through the outer blade of that back foot like it's pressing against a wall. Circle the arms all the way around, plant those palms. Our last vinyasa together or whatever you choose. Start out in plank, shift forward, squeeze those elbows in. Big inhale. Find that back bend, that back extension. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Let's exhale, bend the knees, lower on down into your child's pose. And just observe how that went for you. Remember, this is just one form of Sun B. And thank you so much for practicing with me. Stay here and rest in child's pose for as long as you need. Namaste.